Hello my friends, kind of the interesting visit of CIA Director John Ratcliffe to Moscow. It was done on Globemaster C-17A military airplane. An unexpected visit, I would say, but this meeting happened and probably Ratcliffe met with Vladimir Putin and now he's already on the way to the United States of America. Yeah, he took one more airplane, Boeing 737 modification C-40 Clipper, and now flies towards USA. And guys, it is not good. Something is up to happen, something really big. The situation is escalating, maybe not only towards Ukraine. Like for example, the Wall Street Journal, they write that Ratcliffe arrived in Moscow after United States gathered intelligence indicated mobilization preparations in Russia and plans to test NATO's resolve. So escalation towards the NATO territory. And I'm not sure whether they mean the special military operation, a new limited one, or sabotage escalations. Well, those sabotage attacks, they're happening regularly, especially recently, for the last couple of months. A former deputy director of the United States National Intelligence, Bear Sumner, told the publication that Ratcliffe may have met with Putin directly to deliver a warning along the line saying, like, we know what you are going to do and you'd better not do it. Well, it reminds me 2021, guys. Exactly like mirroring. My friends, just a usual reminder, please smash your like to this video just right now while you're watching it and also subscribe to the channel. By doing those two actions, you're really helping this channel, guys. You're amazing, you're awesome. Thank you for everything, for all of your support, also, by the way, on Patreon and membership of the channel. And guys, let's continue with the video. Yeah, this happened November the 3rd, 2021. On rare visit to Moscow, CIA's Burns holds talks with CVR chief Naryshkin. Yeah, Bill Burns, a CIA director, he visited Russia a few months before the start of the full-scale war. Yeah, how many months? November, December, January, February, so 3.5 months before the full-scale war, something like that. Well, he didn't speak with Putin, but with the Foreign Intelligence Service, Naryshkin. Well, Naryshkin knows everything. They focused on the United States-Russian relations, but also the conflict in the eastern Ukraine, which was ongoing before the full-scale attack of the Russian army back in February 2024. But for sure, CIA tried to warn Putin that what you are going to do is craziness. It's better not to do it because we're going to arm Ukraine. And still, Putin did it. So the result of today's visit of Ratcliffe, who is, by the way, a great friend of Ukraine, from all of the officials of United States, I think he's the most pro-Ukrainian. And he went to Russia to tell that Putin, don't do it, don't do it. Do not announce a new mobilization, do not escalate towards the NATO countries. But this history tells us that Putin doesn't understand it, and we exactly might have the situation as it was in 2022. But not with Ukraine, it's gonna be with our neighboring countries. Or maybe with Ukraine. Maybe Putin might try to go to Kyiv city once again from Bryansk Oblast, Russian Federation via Chernihiv, and that's why Ukraine is building some of the defense lines over there. And there are some rumors that Putin might start this offensive also in February the next year. But in parallel, there are threats coming from Russia towards Poland, Baltic countries, Sweden, Finland, United Kingdom. Yeah, just this afternoon I filmed a video saying that Peskov is threatening UK for its involvement in the war against Russia, because Brits supplied some of the drone technologies and Ukraine uses those on the Russian territory, something like that. So escalation is happening, and everything looks so similar, so parallel to the previous events of 2021, 2022 that I would suggest my fellows who are somewhere close to Russia to get ready just in case, not to be surprised as Ukrainians were. Guys, this is a freaking red flag. Out of nowhere, this visit, like, there is something that Russia wants to happen, and that is very concerning also even for the United States of America. Even with the current administration, they're not okay with that. And yeah, by the way, Americans ask Ukraine not to strike Moscow and northern regions of Russia, including St. Petersburg, for the next couple of days. Well, today and tomorrow, Ukraine agreed on that. Also, Ukrainian officials have reported that they know the topic of the conversation, and they commented as something that the United States is capable to resolve with its political willingness. Yeah, of course, especially with Donald Trump. Well, Putin will never de-escalate, that's my opinion. If there is the time gap for some of the new adventures of Putin, because he likes dvizhucha, that is what he says. For him, it is boring. Then there is no dvizhucha, no action. I think with Donald Trump, he has like the next 2 years for the possible implementation of his craziest possible plans. Well, I guess not the craziest. After all, he will not use nukes, I guess so. But he might start new military operations, special ones, as he calls those. I think I already told in my videos that Putin will wait for elections in November. So Democrats will take the House, and there will be some of the beef around, yeah? Senate, House, Trump, impeachment, like all of this stuff, investigations. So United States will be very, very busy inside. So there will be less grip outside for the foreign policy. We know also about the crisis and shortage of weapons. We know that Iran war is so unpopular that engaging in some of the new confrontation in Asia or Europe, it could be even more unpopular for Donald Trump, so he will not do it. I don't believe that the United States will commence to the Article 5 of NATO. No, they will just sell some of the weapons, and Putin knows that. Also, Xi Jinping knows that. And they have this absolutely perfect window for 2 years to commence and to start something really big. We'll see, because the demand of Russia actually for this war, and that's why the previous CIA director was visiting Russia, Russia wanted NATO bases to move out from the Eastern Europe entirely. The war in Ukraine is not about Ukraine, guys, and Russia pretty much vividly explained it in 2021 with its major demand. Like the West should get away. This is our land, this is our influence. If it is Eastern Europe, it should be loyal to Russia, Poland, Czech Republic, and if those are ex-Soviet countries like Ukraine, Moldova, Baltic countries, they should be swallowed by Russia, be part of Russia, or at least some of the new union. As Russia now has the union with Belarus, and Belarus is basically like one more oblast of Russia. And Belarus could be used by the Russian forces for the further attacks against the NATO countries also potentially. And Belarus proved that it might give Russia its territory for attacks. That is what happened in 2022. And this map shows the recent incidents with some of the energy infrastructure, military infrastructure, or penetration of the NATO airspace by the Russian airplanes. It happened just for the last 1 month. Well, I guess they forgot to color Romania here because there were several of the drones of Russian Federation that penetrated Romanian airspace. And again, the CIA director Ratcliffe is really supporting Ukraine.
If you look, the advancements that Russia made into Ukraine initially, right now Russia occupies 20% of Ukraine. When I came in as CIA director 18 months ago, Russia occupied 19% of Ukraine. So the pace of their advance has stopped as Ukraine's mastery of emerging technologies, and in this case, drone warfare, asymmetric warfare, is such a great equalizer and shows why we have to be leading on this in all respects, for us to maintain our place in the global marketplace.
And he got so many initiatives. He's for Ukrainian military support, but he has not this decisive power, let's say. But under his management, CIA gives Ukraine information about the Russian targets, and there is cooperation happening. So Ratcliffe is definitely a great guy. But the main decisions, of course, are made by Donald Trump, and he is not competent in those questions, in any sort of the questions, I would say. That's why he messed up with Iran operation, and that's why Ukraine doesn't have enough support to withstand Russian aerial ballistic strikes. And Here, Radcliffe also mentioned the evolution in the drone systems, but we see one more evolution from the Russian side in the tools which they used to hurt Ukraine a lot. I mean jet drones. I mentioned those in every of the video because those are very important. And there is no counteraction possible to that new threat, at least right now. And you know, with those small drone interceptors, it was like a relief. All right, finally we found a tool which shuts down lots of the Russian Shahed drones. But now you need jet interceptors, and they're not that developed. Those are just the tests happening very fast, and Russia already launches those jet drones to hit Ukraine. So Ukraine is a little bit behind in the tools to intercept Russian new generation of the jet Shahed drones or Banderol drones. And the ex-defense minister of Ukraine, Fedorov, says that Ukraine, unfortunately, is gradually, slowly losing. We see how Russia takes initiative nowadays on the front lines. Yeah, there are some of the places where Ukraine is successful, but mainly Russia takes the ground. Even that guy Radcliffe says that Russia advanced by 1% for the last couple of years, but still they advance, right? And they're looking for some of the tools of how to hit Ukraine really hard. Recently, Russians cut Ukraine grain export. They cut lots of the fueling stations. They hit Ukrainian supply logistics centers. So it hasn't been like that, let's say, in 2025. Plus, Russians are accumulating their missiles and drones. It was reported by Ukrainian intelligence for drone strikes during the winter time or late autumn to disturb Ukraine, like for Ukraine to beg to join Russian world, Russian peace. Otherwise, Ukraine will stay without anything. All of the communications could potentially be cut this year by Russians. This is a very big threat, and that's why Fedorov says like that. And partially he's correct, yeah, at least partially. He says that we have only months to make a major strategic changes. Yes, here he's also correct. Ukraine found out also the tool of how to strike Russian logistics with the mid-strikes or long-range strikes, hurting some of the Russian economy, part of it, but it cannot continue forever. Russians might put some of the huge meshes around their refineries. Russians might develop some of the electronic warfare to shut down Ukrainian Hornet drones. They will look for solutions to protect their supplies and protect their units. It will not continue forever. This war is a marathon, and Russia still has lots of the resources, lots of the muscles to continue this war. Ukraine is gradually being exhausted, and we say that even from our partners, Ukraine obtains less help. And those are not my words. There are lots of the articles about that one. Even compared to the previous year, Ukraine has limited support. I think Zelensky himself says that we have deficit minus 25 billion hryvnias or dollars, I don't remember, but Ukrainian military needs more money. Well, it's kind of harsh to tell, but it's like that. I would suggest Zelensky to search also in the pockets of his friends, close friends who are involved in corruption. And by the way, Irina Mudra today, one of the top officials of the president's office, was finally jailed for 2 months during this investigation process, but she could be bailed out for, I guess, 20 million hryvnias, so basically for her, it's nothing. And she is a deputy of Budanov, and Budanov is a deputy of Zelensky. There are lots of the stories uncovered by NABU. Those are crazy. Bribes, illegal money, money laundering, raiding and capturing of the companies, hacking of the systems to get the new management to those This is crazy, guys. And I watched those news with those tapes, with those stories from NABU published openly. Guys, this cannot... Ukraine like that will not win. Here, Fedorov is correct. Fedorov is also like, he was the part of this team, for 7 years, and just now he says about it. Like, what took you so long, or what? So I don't have the full trust for this guy, but I know that he was a great defense minister. I know it not from him and not from media. I know it from the soldiers with whom I speak. So for the current situation, Fedorov blamed the governance, or maybe government, but he says governance. Okay, corruption and the failure to deploy military technology effectively, so army reforms. I think I'm calling since the start of the war for the army reforms as well as all of the volunteers of Ukraine, but they are not happening as we want. So he says that Ukraine still has every chance to win, but lacks of overall plan. Technologies exist already which could completely stop Russians, he said, arguing Kyiv is failing to apply them at a scale. And this is what Donald Trump is bothered about, yeah? To rename the Lake of Ontario to the Lake of America, or Lake America. Yeah, and you expect this buffoon idiot to do something about those Russian possible new special military operations, or a big special military operation which could potentially be done by China. I am sure that America will not be involved there. Just selling weapons in the best case scenario. Yeah, guys, it definitely turned the wrong way. And about Ukraine more, I speak kind of little about, for example, the Independence Day, because I understand the mood of Ukrainians, and this was the most depressing Independence Day, I think, throughout the independence. Because we are still in the middle of political crisis, corruption crisis, army crisis. What else? Communication crisis, because there is no communication from Ukrainian government to people. And it's understandable that there will be no changes, unfortunately. And not only for me, it was kind of depressing, but for many, yeah. Well, there are some of the positive things after all. Like, for example, General Commander Drapati. He is competent, capable, but whether he will have everything of that to resolve the issue, we'll see. There are some of the positive changes, so it's not like overwhelmingly dystopian dark. Still there is the chance, and even Fedorov says that there is the chance, but Ukraine needs to do something about it. I mean, Ukrainian government, first of all, there are so many issues which should be resolved immediately, but sadly it's not happening at the scale we want, of course, or not happening at all in multiple of the spheres. Again, I'm complaining, but no, everything will be all right. Russia, I believe, will not win in general, but if it announces a new mobilization and if the situation like that in Ukraine continues, Russia will just occupy more of the territories. In the coming couple of years, for sure, Iron Belt will fall. So guys, it's all what I want to say in this particular video, and please support my job if you can on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Guys, thank you so much. You're making this content to happen. You employ me for this job, and also don't forget to press like to this video and subscribe to the channel. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.